Welcome to r/malicious compliance, where we share stories of people conforming to the letter but not the spirit of a request. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story, boss ordered to work faster, and I did that to be a smart A. The second story, guy ignored my call, so I threatened to call the police, which was very expensive. The third story, client had no clue who I was, insulting first my coworker and then me, leading to him not getting the credit for his firm. On to the first story. You need to speed up. Backstory. My job figured out how to get production up by offering bonuses for production. How they did this is they set a monthly monetary goal. If the goal was hit, they would split the profit with all employees. When the thing that shall not be named kicked off, my job did not shut down. What happened was, sometime between a week and a month, I don't remember exactly, before it started, upper management decided they would change the bonus from monthly to yearly. So, everyone was peeved about that. On to the story. Now, my boss is fine as a boss. He shows respect to the employees and the employees respect him. However, he's a little high-strung, so to speak. He knew it was bull that they took the bonus, but what can he do? Cast, me, I wonder who. Super, person over the floor. Same one from my other post. Dave, Super's boss/my boss. This will be paraphrased. Dave, we have orders that need to go out, so speed up for me, please? Me, okay. The speed I was running was fast enough to where the guy who was helping me couldn't keep up because he was by himself. I would help when I could, but I had to do my own job. A couple days passed and I'm running the same thing in the same situation again. Dave, we have orders. Go faster. Me, why? Dave, because there are orders that are going out today and tomorrow that need to go out. Me, and I care why? I don't get anything for it. Dave, well, the company does better. Me, okay. I guess he took that as an agreement that I would go faster and walked away. So the next day, or the day after, Dave, every day I tell you to go faster and you run the same speed. If I gave you more help, would you go faster? Me, more help would be good. I explain my helper can't keep up, and I can't constantly help him. Dave, okay, I'll see what I can do. I get my help and I speed up a bit. Next day, I'm back down to the single helper and back down to a slower speed. Dave, we need to speed up. Me, well, I don't have as many helpers as yesterday, so there's no point in me going faster. He walks away and comes back later. Dave, we need to speed you up. I was so irritated with him at this point I turn and shout at him. Me, I'm paid by the hour, meaning I get the same no matter how fast or slow I run. Dave, I know. This took place over a week. On the Thursday or Friday of the week, the malicious compliance happens. Dave, we have orders, speed up. Me, okay. He walks away. My machine can go pretty fast, but we don't take it to full speed. You can see where this is going. I speed it up to full. The material is not able to handle the speed and rips. I have to retread the entire machine, which slows me down. Dave comes out. Dave, what happened? Me, I speed it up. Dave, how fast? Me, full. Dave, what? Why would you do that? Me, you said go faster. I went faster. He walks away and a few minutes later, Super walks up. Super, hey, we have a meeting with Dave. Me, okay. As we're walking to the office, what's the meeting about? Super, what do you think? Me, fair point. In the meeting room, Dave, what's your deal this week? Me, every day you tell me I need to speed up, that everything I run is important and needs to go out. Well, if everything is important, then nothing really is. Dave, you know better than going that fast. You did that to be a smart A. Me, yeah, I'll give you that I was being a smart A. Dave, what's wrong? Me, it's bull that this pandemic kicks off, they take bonuses, and then say we need to go faster for no return. You know it too. Dave looks to Super. They say this speed, I don't remember what speed, is as high as you should go. He no longer tells me to speed up anymore though. So, some clarifications. I've been there and the boss has changed 5 times since I've been there, so my boss changed 5 times. Super is not technically my boss. He tells me what to do and I do it, but that's because he's a go-between. The reason everyone was mad they took the bonus is before we started getting the bonus we got nothing, even though we had hit the goal several times. They would tell us we hit the goal and still not give us anything. The only reason we started getting something is because boss number 4 went to a company closer to his home for more money. Before he left, he went into the owner's office, sat down and told him it wasn't right he had to look employees in the eye and say, the company had a record month last month. We're gonna feed you pizza for it. When asked about money, he would say, we're getting pizza for lunch. Last thing, every hourly employee there respected the hell out of number 4 before he did that. so him trying to make things better before leaving made him all the better. The second story is small victories, alarm companies and doctors. This is more like a small victory MC, something that you get to do during a mundane job that gives you a little smile in the middle of your boring shift. Here we go. Back in college, I worked for an alarm company to pay the bills. Specifically, I worked in what's called a central station, which is where the residential, commercial, and fire alarms would ring into. It's 24/7, 365, so you could easily adjust your schedule to classes. Now, how the job works is that you sit in front of a computer, and if an alarm goes off somewhere, it pops up on your screen, and you have all the basic info. Name on the account, address, phone numbers to the premises, relevant fire and police phone numbers, the type of alarm, front door, second floor window, fire, hold up at gunpoint, etc. And finally, there was also a list of RPs, which are responsible parties, meaning these are people you call after dispatching the appropriate emergency service to let them know what's happening and that said emergency services have been dispatched. The default protocol for dealing with alarms goes like this. 1. Call the premises to see if anyone is there and verify if the alarm is real or not. If you get an answer, the person must provide you with a preset authorization code. No code, say hi to the police. 2. If there's no answer, or no authorization code or wrong authorization code, you call and dispatch, for example. Hi, this is operator 123 with X Alarm Company, and we're reporting a 458 audible at 555 Jones Street. And 3. Call the RPs. Now, for those unfamiliar with burglar and fire alarms, I can assure you that 99% of them are false. Wind rattles a window, the alarm goes off. Someone hits the wrong button on the alarm panel, we get an alarm notification. You get the idea. Now, this peeves off the police and fire because they roll out to the emergency and there's no emergency. This is bad because if there's a real emergency somewhere, then they're already preoccupied with this false alarm. Additionally, it's expensive to run a fire truck to a false alarm, cost of gas, etc. Also, if for example someone mistakenly pushes the 211 silent button, hold up, then police roll with guns drawn and it can be very dangerous. So, many municipalities began to enact false alarm fines. Usually you get like 1 to 3 false alarms per year, and any more you get fined. The fine starts at about $300 and then ramps up for multiple false alarms. Note, this was in the 90s. I'm sure the fines are much heavier now. Because of this, many accounts had modified protocols and required you to call the RPs, responsible parties, first, before dispatching any emergency services. Now, some of our accounts were the homes of doctors. You knew this because the name on the account would say Dr. and Mrs. Joe and Karen Smith, or whatever, and you could tell by the address and alarm type that it was their residence and not the doctor's medical office. For example, you wouldn't get a living room window alarm from an office. Also, the first number on the RP list would almost always be the doctor's office number, which also identified the premises as a residence. This is where the small victory, MC, comes into play. Many doctors would have a modified call list, so instead of calling the RPs after dispatch, they requested we would call before dispatch so they could say yes or no to dispatching in order to avoid any false alarm fees. Problem is they wouldn't tell their receptionist about this setup. So inevitably, what would happen is that we would get an alarm, call the RP first, which is usually the doctor's office, as instructed, and the following conversation would ensue. Ring ring. Thank you for calling Dr. Smith's office. How can I help you? Hello, this is operator 123 from X Alarm Company. I'm calling to report a burglar alarm at 555 Jones Street. Is Dr. Smith available? Now, what I assume is that if the person calling isn't immediately recognizable as a patient or insurance company, the receptionist goes into autopilot and just assumes it's a solicitation call, even though we distinctly say that we have received a burglar alarm. So the receptionist usually immediately follows up with a dismissive, "I'm sorry, he's with a patient. Can I take a message?" Again, even after we've told them we're receiving a burglar alarm. My guess is that they just ignored it. It's kind of like your car alarm going off. I think most people just assume it's a cat jumping on the car or whatever it is that sets all those car alarms off. Haha. Small victory MC. Sure, again, we're receiving a burglar alarm at 555 Jones Street. Please let Dr. Smith know that we will dispatch the police immediately. Thank you. Now, if you want a little more satisfying MC, you hang up quickly and then wait like 30 seconds, because the doctor will call back immediately, flustered and demanding you don't roll the police. Haha. Otherwise, you'll hear the receptionist's tone go into panic when they say, "Wait," and miraculously 10 seconds later, the doctor who was supposedly with the patient is now on the phone giving you their auth code. I know, small victory, but always made the operators giggle at how quick the tune changed when they actually paid attention to what we were saying. The last story is, probably shouldn't judge a book by its cover. First, so this happened about 3 months ago. About me. I'm in my early 30s, but I look very young. especially as a credit officer from one of the biggest banks in Switzerland. My job is to approve big or too big credits, special loans, and pretty much any form of money in a firm, corporation, etc. wants and needs. We usually have our strict rules for when it's possible to approve or not, but the credit officer, which is in case me, can improve certain situations that practically almost never apply. But being a resource-strong bank, we grant the credits for important clients that we profit a lot. So technically we're breaking the rules to make more money for our clients. The personal consultant of this very client has a set meeting with our client, in which I asked to join, because normally the credit should have been denied, but since it's a big client, I wanted to gather all the facts and hear the client out, and most likely accept his request. The personal consultant is a super chill dude who's 47 years old and looks way older than me and really knows his SH. He'll be called P in this story, and the client, controller, and financial director representing his firm, C. We both get to the meeting early and wait in the conference room for the client to show up. He comes in 5 minutes late, but who cares? Big client. He knows P, so he shakes hands with both of us and doesn't ask who I am. I just think, okay, the man has no time to waste, so whatever. They both start to talk and discuss the important stuff. I just take notes and listen. I had instructed P to tell the client in a very polite and easygoing way that the credit was way over the capacity of what we could give him, and so he does, when C interrupts him mid-sentence and SH goes down. C. We've been your client before, we both even worked here, and every request was always accepted. I thought we were friends, and this is how you treat your friends, you soulless and greedy A? Yeah, he said exactly that. How dare you bring your intern, assuming me, to a meeting like this in the first place? See, I'm really not short-tempered at all, but it happened to be an SH day with the stocks being low, and me having to work on multiple complaints about basically everything, so I just didn't have the nerves to stay polite. I just closed my notebook, put my pen back into my inside pocket of my suit, which is usually a sign my coworkers understand is now it's my turn. Doesn't happen a lot, but I wasn't having it at all. I start to explain why the requested credit should have been denied in the way every 5-year-old would get, ending the sentence with, and every effing intern in my bank knows that SH, because they actually learned that in university, unlike you. C, completely confused and red as a pepper, stared me down speechlessly. I was straight up just peeved how a client would even think of talking that way to one of my coworkers, and then called me an intern, not even knowing who I am. Me. You know, if you let P just finish, you would walk out this door with XXX euros. Big number, I can't tell. More in your credit account. But you had to insult the one person that actually decides whether or not you receive it, and that's me. Me, the CEO of this bank. According to our policies and the one of the National Credit Committee, we're not allowed to give out that much money to you, except if there are special circumstances, which I don't see. He perfectly knows that we have these rules, and he also knows that we do give credits like that to subjectively important clients. I signaled my coworker that we were leaving, stood up and looked C in the eyes. He seemed even more red than before, but now he had a pretty desperate look. Now starting to cool down a little, I let my coworker lead the way out and wished a nice day, letting C in the conference room alone. While on the way out, I threw in a greetings to his boss. Haven't seen him in a long time. Since I'm the CEO and my decisions are 99.99% undisputable, because we really don't have to accept these kinds of requests, no one will ever take me on for that, because I was just following the rules. You can imagine how amusing the call from his boss was for me. A formal apology should come in from P either tomorrow or Monday, plus this guy will never have a meeting with us again. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.